This video is with regard to the Environmental Approval System OneStop. The purpose of the video is to take a look at the functionality of the system as well as my profile to get started. The assumption is that you've created an account with My Alberta Digital ID and My Alberta Digital ID for Business, which we went through in the Getting Started video. Once you've done that, you can click on the EAS OneStop link, which will bring you to the following URL. If you've entered in as an individual, you'll click here. If you've entered in as a business, you will click here. So I've entered in as an individual. I'm going to click on the following link and it will produce the following page. Enter in your user ID and your password that you've entered in to your account. Click on Next and it will bring you into the Environmental Approval System OneStop. There's a disclaimer at the front that speaks to our web content as well as distribution. Please read that. And this is the external web page associated with what an applicant would see. So you can see that I'm acting as myself and I only have myself to act as at this point in time. This is my home page. This is my recent activity that I have done associated with applications. I can initiate a new application. I can initiate a Water Act Code of Practice submission. Construct is not functional at this point in time. To operate allows you to amend an authorization, such as a Water Act approval at this point in time. Close is not a function at this point in time. And my profile would allow you to add representatives. So if somebody wanted you to represent them, they would add you into the system. They would also have a My Alberta Digital ID or a My Alberta Digital ID for Business, and they would have logged into the system at least once. Then they would be able to see you if you've logged into the system at least once. You can add a representative for yourself by clicking on Add Representative and finding that particular representative. Again, they would have created a My Alberta Digital ID or a My Alberta Digital ID for Business and logged into the Environmental Approval System OneStop at least once. This information is covered in the Initiate New Water Act Application General Application Guide right at the start of the guide. And our guidance documents are located on our Environmental Approval System OneStop external webpage, listed down here at the bottom. Also, you may click on the following link to get to the quick reference guides. If we go back to the OneStop webpage, if I click on Add a Representative, I can add an individual. I need to have their correct email address, first name, last name, and I can add an expiry date here. So if we roll over top of this Identify button, it will give you information associated with it. So if you leave this blank, it doesn't expire. You can change that profile information at any point in time and add an expiry date. Again, you can roll over top the Identify button associated with roles, so you can give a person a role associated with it. So you can give them a search role, which only allows them to search your applications. You can give them a submit role, which allows them to save, submit, and search for applications in the system. And you can give them a save function, which allows them to create an application, but it doesn't allow them to submit an application. And then you would submit this into the system. So I'm going to go back to my profile. I'm going to go back to Add a Representative. I can do the same thing with a company. I can search for a business. I have to have the proper name associated with the business as they would have entered it into My Alberta Digital ID for Business and logged in to the OneStop system. I can search for them and I can add them listed here. I can give them the same expiry date associated with it. I can give them the same roles within the system as you saw with an individual. Once they've been set up in the system and you have representatives, you would then have a drop-down list of representatives that you would represent. Now, keeping in mind when you submit an application, you have to submit on behalf of the appropriate person. So if you were submitting on behalf of a company such as Hunt Brothers, let's say, you would select them down here. There's also the functionality associated with searching in the system. So we have a map search function and we have a search function in here. If I click on the search function, it opens up application, which allows me to search for my applications, or it allows me to search for anybody who's I am acting as for their applications. I can enter in any status, application ID, receive date between the following dates, I can enter in one piece of land location information or all of the land location information associated with a particular site, and then I can click on search. Authorization allows me to search for any authorization in the system. So this includes legacy authorizations that were issued and submitted prior to the development of the Environmental Approval System OneStop, or authorizations that have been issued within the Environmental Approval System OneStop. Again, I can enter in all or some of the information that is listed here and click on search. Notices under the Code of Practice. I can search notices from the time period when codes of practice started under the Water Act in 1999 to 2001. Again, 1999 to 2001, so beware that you may want to narrow your search between a specific date, and you can enter in all or one of those pieces of information. There's also a submission button, and the submissions don't work at this point in time because we haven't been accepting reports or other submissions into the system as of yet. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. We'll be doing another video associated with completing this quick reference guide for initiating a new Water Act application, general application. If you do have any questions, you can go to our contact information associated with our webpage. You can submit an email for either business or technical questions to easonestop.support@gov.ab.ca. I hope this helped, and have a good day.